All right, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Nerdy30s. I'm your host, Jeff Griffith, joined by one of my co-hosts, Jimmy Kelly. And we're not sure where Matt is. In fact, there's going to be a hashtag movement here. It was Where's Waldo. It's now going to be Where's Matt. We don't know where he is. Jimmy, have you got any leads on this case as to where Matt may be?
It is possible that he has been abducted by UFOs. We don't know that for sure.
That is possible. Another possible outcome, I have been getting text messages from Jake Jacobs, who many of you know from the independent wrestling scene, one of the hottest, rising stars. He's been texting me. He is at the current, as we speak, he is at the Ring of Honor New Japan show in Philadelphia. And so maybe Matt left us to go to that show.
I don't know. There's been a lot of talk from him. He told me he's been getting anally probed a lot lately. So I think it's more the UFOs.
That's possible. Regardless, Jimmy and me, you can always count on at least some iteration of the three of us to bring you a show every week. And Jimmy and me are going to brave the waters together here. And we're going to sail across the sea of nerddom and try to be a beacon of light for all of you. So, Jimmy, I'll start out by asking, what has been going on in the wild, wonderful world of Jimmy Kelly this week?
We did the old yard sale this week. Been playing some Hearthstone. I finished Daredevil finally. I finally just said, well, I don't think that me and Kendra are going to be able to watch it together. And read some comic books today, and that's about all.
Hey, I read a couple of comic books today, too. Unfortunately, I didn't get to read the ones that I mostly wanted to read, but we'll talk about that in a minute. As for me, just been hanging out with the family, watched the season finale of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on last night. And this last weekend, I actually went to Tennessee with Matt and Stevie. We got to go to the NWA Smoky Mountain show, and that was awesome. I'll be talking about that in a little bit. One of the better independent wrestling shows I've ever attended, actually. So, yeah, that's been about it for me, man.
Well, to start the show, let's talk about something we never talk about. And you might know about this, but I didn't know about this. Let's talk about video games. And what do you think about them bringing back the Nintendo World Championships?
I'm completely unaware of this, but I'm completely interested. Please tell me more.
Apparently what I saw today, I'm still trying to figure it out, but like around the end of this month, starting at Best Buys, you can, I guess, try to qualify. And they're going to actually have a finals that they will be streaming.
Yeah.
Sometime in June. Is there like a video game? Maybe there's a video game show in June. I don't remember. It gets confusing on when all the shows are. But anyway, starting May 30th, go to Best Buy. You can try and qualify. They have not announced the games, although people are kind of guessing that it's going to be maybe an offshoot of some of the more original games that were part of the early Nintendo World Championships. You know there's going to be some Mario in there, so automatically I'm not going to try and partake.
This reminds me, remember that movie with Fred Savage, The Wiz?
Yes, that is. Wasn't that actually why they did the whole first one?
Yeah.
And it was
bring up the Power Glove again, man.
What was it? Was it Super Mario 3? That was the big one?
That sounds right.
Was that the one with the flute? Which one was the one where you had the flute and you could go by different
yeah, I think
different
that's Super Mario 3. That's Super Mario 3. So
yeah, man, it's kind of cool. It's nostalgic. It's neat. I'll watch the finals because.
Yeah, for sure.
It'll be neat. It's kind of cool. That's kind of coming video games are getting more popular. You know, they just had that. What is it? Heroes. My brother plays it. League of Legends or something
League
like that.
of Legends, yes.
I mean, they had that on the ESPN.
I've never played League of Legends, but I have a hatred in my heart for it, and it has nothing to do with the game itself. It has to do with the fact that I feel like that League of Legends pretty much ran one comic book shop in their town into the ground. And it was first.
Well, that could be a fact, but hey, it's back now and seems to be
back and
better
than ever. Even though I had something happen there, which is not their fault. I'm not mad at them, but I'm bummed about something. But regardless,
what happened?
Well, I went to there today to pick up issue 2 of Secret Wars because I'm really jazzed on this series, man. And they did not have it.
That
But
kills me, man. That kills me.
They're going to have it Monday. They were shorted on their order by Diamond, and they got on the phone, and Diamond is going to be, they said, shipping them out to them tomorrow, 2-day shipping, so they'd be there Monday.
Because I did read issue 2, and I really wanted... You are much more of a comic fan than I am. You've read a lot more of... I'm a weird comic book fan in the sense of it seems like when you start getting into outer space and things like that, I really want no part of it, even though I like Star Wars and stuff. Like, I've never really liked Fantastic Four. I don't know. I guess I like the more realistic, grittier comics. And, like, there's this issue, and it's like, it seems like to me, and I need to go back and read the first Secret Wars or something, but it seems like to me now it is so tied in with this issue as to what I remember the first Secret Wars being.
Well,
I could be wrong.
I mean, I haven't read it, obviously, but from what I know, now, did you read Secret Wars 1?
Yes, I did.
Last week's issue? Okay. I'm assuming, if I was guessing, that we are now fully on Battle World in issue 2.
This issue seems to be pretty much the majority Battle World, yes.
Okay. And if you'll remember in the first Secret Wars, that was what the Beyonder formed a Battle World for the heroes to battle on for his enjoyment.
Right.
So, I would say that definitely ties in with the first one. Do
you remember how the first one ends?
Yes.
It ends with, isn't it, like Doom basically becomes the everything?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Doom plays a major role in this one.
Well, it's so crazy because the way everything's tying in with everything that's been going on in the Marvel Universe in the last 3 years, it's just crazy to me, like the masterful thing. It's really, Jonathan Hickman has just orchestrated all of this through his Avengers run. Even before his Avengers run, the stuff he did on his Fantastic Four run, which I really think might be the greatest Fantastic Four run of all time. And I could argue that his Avengers run, I mean, I really think Hickman's done some amazing stuff at Marvel over the last few years. And I know there's people that are literally throwing stuff at me through their iPods or their computers right now because there's a lot of people that feel like Hickman's stuff is too high concept and too hard to follow, and that's what I love about it. But some people just want it to be more basic. They want it, and Hickman, he operates on a much higher concept level. Turns some people off, but I don't know. So, but yeah, the stuff with Doom. I mean, Doom has been kind of circulating through time, trying to save existence, and I'm just interested to see how that all plays out as this thing goes on. So I'm really looking forward to reading issue 2. Did you like it?
Maybe after you read issue 2, we can do a little quick recording and then put it on the YouTube channel about it.
Oh yeah,
I think a lot of people are going to be like me. They're they were really fans back then, and they've kind of, I've been much more into image books and stuff like that over the last 3 and 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't read a lot of this stuff. It would be great for me to just have you sit down and say, okay, this is what it is. This is how it all ties in. I think it'd be good for me. So I'm guessing it'd be good for other people too.
I would love to do that. Yeah. I mean, in a perfect world, I would love for every person that's reading this series, including you, I'd love to be able to just go boom and put the last 3 years worth of Avengers and New Avengers especially just right into your head, because I mean it's just all led to this so perfectly. But I mean I know that would take you a long time to sit down and read all that too. I mean,
yeah.
But yeah, I can feel you in me.
We'll try to do something fresh next week so people can look for that on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Trying to read Secret Wars. Now, I will tell you something that, I don't know, I was in a comic book mood today, so I probably read 4 or 5 comics today, and I'll tell you one. I know you stopped reading it with Walking Dead, but
yeah.
Walking Dead is getting ready, I think, to take a crazy turn. I know you saw I sent you some kind of chat or something. I can't remember how. Anyway, one of the panels. But I think basically, for everybody who doesn't know, Negan has been in a cell. Rick's been holding him in a cell forever.
Right.
I think that Rick's going to wind up letting him go in the next couple of issues.
Why in the hell would Rick ever do
that? Negan, as part of that thing that I sent you,
yeah,
basically was making a convincing argument for why Rick should have let him go. Anyway, it's got me excited and interested in it again. I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. I don't want to spoil it. You're nowhere near it, but there's people out there who haven't had a chance to read it. They just came out today, but definitely it's got my interest again. I'm looking forward to it.
Hold on. Say that we're in the future, okay? And you and me and a group of other people have survived through a bunch of crazy stuff together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we meet some dude, and he beats my brains out with a baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire, okay? You capture this dude. You literally see him beat me to death, bash my brains in front of my wife, we'll say, even. How could this person ever talk you into? I just don't know what argument could be made to be like, okay, it's safe.
He's making a convincing argument that Rick can trust him and that Rick needs him to help control the other outlaws. So
okay.
I'll keep you filled in kind of as it goes.
I have no plans on reading it, so yeah, you can spoil away with me whenever you want. I mean, you don't have to do it on the show, but
let's talk about another book. What about the new Thor? Did you read that?
I sure did, man. That was what I did pick up because I didn't get to get the Secret Wars, but I did get the Thor.
Okay, and, I have not been reading the new Thor at all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I read the first one, and now I'm reading this one. But the reveal, spoiler alert, it's a reveal, although it's already been on TV, so everyone should pretty much know. Tell me how that happened. Go ahead.
Well, it's interesting because, like you said, spoiler alert, and I want to be very clear, just like you said, I know it's been on TV. Just to be clear, if you're listening to this and you have not read Thor issue 8 yet, I would say to fast forward a minute or two, because I'm going to be talking. We all know it's been the female Thor, and for 8 issues now, the question's been, who is she? And they've never revealed it. And they've still out red herrings. They've made you think it could be this, it could be that. In this issue, we finally find out that whenever she transforms back, it is Jane Foster. So, that was, and for the record, you can ask Tony Rice. That the first day that came out, I was at his house, and I told him, I think it's going to be Jane Foster. So I was right on that.
Now, Why is it killing Jane Foster?
Okay, it's funny. I'm looking at that page when you said that, which isn't even though it is killing me. I don't know why she would say that being Thor is killing me. I do know that before this switched over to the new Thor series, the Thor series that Jason Aaron was doing before with the actual Thor, Odin's son, there was an issue. It was a one-off issue in between two story arcs, and it was one of my favorite issues of the series because sometimes I like, anyway, like when there's a series and you've been reading it and there's just been this storyline that's been going on and on. I love when there's those like in-between story arcs, just one-off issues. I think those are always fun. But this one in particular was just kind of showing Thor on Earth, kind of just dealing with being Thor. But it showed that he went to visit Jane Foster, and we found out that she has cancer.
Okay.
And she's taking chemo. She's bald, and she lost all of her hair. And there was a really touching scene in it where she's like dating this guy, and Thor don't like him. But it's like, I mean, they're not romantically intertwined anymore, but you can tell they still love each other. But Thor actually takes her to, I think it was the moon. Like the last page, they're just there, and like she tells Thor, she's like, "No, I don't want you to." He's like, "I could find a way to beat this," and she's like, "No magic, no this and that." And it just shows them like one of the last pages, like they were together. I mean, that's the last time we saw Jane Foster was that issue, and that was like, that was probably almost 2 years ago. But so yeah. I don't know why she would say that being Thor is killing her. I don't understand that. And we'll find out more as we go, I'm sure. But, yeah. So, I mean, I do know that she's had, like, cancer, and it was like terminal cancer, I believe.
Well, that makes a little more sense, because I was wondering why it was killing her, so that helps.
But here's what I'm curious about, though. I mean, I'm sure you noticed, and this is the whole thing with all of the Secret Wars that's going on, is the Marvel Universe. I mean, it's been a week since it came out. I'll go ahead and say it. In issue 1 of Secret Wars, the Marvel Universe, as we know it, gone. I mean, completely gone. It even says, I mean, on the last page, it had the date that it was born and the year it died. And in a lot of the titles, they're doing this thing like the last days of Magneto, showing their last days on this Earth before, I had Marvel 616 before it went. But this issue of Thor, at the end of it, this is the last issue of this series. And like a lot of these books that are going to be taking place during Secret Wars, we're getting a new series called Thor's. And it says, coming next, Thor is issue 1. So I just wonder, will we get the rest of the story about Jane and female Thor through this series? I'm just really wondering how everything's going to be handled. Like all the storylines that have been going on that haven't tied into this, are they just going to be stopped? Or will they just pick back up once Secret Wars is over and whatever's formed is formed? I'm very curious to see how all this goes.
Yeah, it's one of those things that gets you waiting and see what happens.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I do want to throw out there because I hadn't read last month's issue of Thor either, but I picked up both and I read issue 7 and 8, and I thought issue 7 was really good as well. And I just got to send a shout out to Russell Dowderman, who we talk about Jason Aaron all the time. I think he's just doing a killer job writing the book. He's been doing a killer job with Thor for years now. But Russell Dowderman drawing this Thor book, I just think his art is awesome, man. I love the line work. I love just everything about it, man. I think he's a super talented artist. He was drawing the Cyclops solo book before this. I was impressed with his work on that, but I think he's really he's really shined on this Thor title. So I don't know. I'm curious to see because I know he's not the one drawing the Thor's book. The one that's coming starting next month is going to be drew by I saw it here somewhere.
I don't know.
Chris Sprouse. This is going to be drawing Thor's. So I'm just wondering where Russell Dowderman will end up after this. Because I'm telling you, man, I think his art's awesome, and it's been really good on this Thor book. So we'll see. But yeah, just very curious to see how everything plays out with the whole Secret Wars thing as we move along. I guess my biggest question that I have after reading issue 1, I've been thinking about it a lot, and it may be answered in issue 2. I don't know, but I'm just going to say, I looked at when I bought issue 1 last week. One of the things that they gave out at the store was a map of Battle World, like a really nice fold-out map, and I was looking at it, and one of the things it shows is a section of Manhattan still being like it survived and is part of this Battle World now. And it makes me wonder, were a lot of those heroes in Manhattan and they actually survived the big whoop-de-doo or whatever. So I'm wondering if that's the way that a lot of them survived and they'll end up on this new Battle World going forward. But I'll just ask you this, is that answered in issue 2?
I don't think so, no, not really.
Okay. Saw a lot of people comparing issue 2 to Game of Thrones.
Very much. Very much.
Okay.
I can see that.
That's interesting.
Very much. If you don't have anything else to talk about, I want to stay kind of comic books and go to comic books TV shows. And did you see the Supergirl
I did.
trailer? What do you think?
I don't think it is. And I don't mean this in a bad way. I don't think that it's really going after me as part of its key demographic. That being said, I think it looks fun. Like I said, I feel like there's a completely different demographic that they're shooting for with this than 38-year-old men.
Well, I'll agree 100%, and I'm absolutely for that because
Same here, man. Same here.
Let's get that demographic into comic books. Let's get them excited about something. And I'll watch it because it still looks like it has enough superhero stuff to be very interesting.
Yeah, I agree 100%, man. I saw a few people throwing off on it. And the people that I saw throwing off on it, I feel like they are completely missing the point.
I think as the father of a daughter, you should be really excited for it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. Dude, I'm so lucky. I mean, Matt always tells me this, and he's right. He always will joke with me, because you're raising the coolest little girl. Don't screw it up. She's so into, she loves any kind of superhero stuff. She loves Harry Potter. She watched all 3 Lord of the Rings movies. She played Pathfinder, a role-playing game, and liked it more than my son even. And, yes, I'm super excited that this is a show that I think is something that she'll like a lot. Yeah, absolutely.
When I saw it, I don't know, it's like I was so pumped because I was like, here is this whole demographic that we're finally reaching out to. It seems like a DC world more along the TV lines. It's not quite as dark because The Flash isn't really dark.
No,
Arrow's,
I don't think so.
Arrow's a little bit darker. But it's not the movie universe, which seems to be like totally
ultra dark.
Yeah. And I'm a guy that likes dark stuff, but it's getting old.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
You're so right about the Flash show, man. I mean, I can't comment on Arrow just because I haven't watched enough of it to even comment on it. But the Flash show, to me, is it's the perfect blend. I mean, it's got its serious, of course. And I'm not meaning this derivatively or anything, but to me, it's much closer to the Marvel technique of movies, as far as like it's still got its humor and it's still like it just doesn't feel so dark. But I love the Flash show, man. And yeah, I'm hoping Supergirl is much closer to Flash, and from what I've heard of Arrow, and nowhere near close to Gotham, and I'll be happy.
Arrow Felicity is kind of like the levity in Arrow, which kind of keeps it from being like totally gloom and doom. But Flash, and I know that you and Waldo disagree because you guys say that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is, but to me, Flash is the best superhero show on TV. I'm one episode away from the finish of this season. I dread it. I dread seeing the end of this season more than I dread seeing the end of Walking Dead season because I'm so caught up in this series, man. It's so good, and he's finally captured the reverse Flash, which you're going to find it's simple, and we're getting ready to reveal it all. And
right.
I'm so excited, man.
Well, I'll tell you, and I don't know for sure. I don't know how, but I've managed to keep away from spoilers because I'm behind on it. But, and I'm just going to say this, and don't tell me if I'm wrong or right, but I've predicted since the first episode that I believe the reverse Flash is Tom Cavanaugh's character. I forget his name. But I've been convinced since episode 1 that that's the reverse Flash.
Well, I'll tell you if you're wrong or right, but I said the exact same thing.
Like, it was like the first, I was like, that's freaking Professor Zoom. Yeah, that show hooked me in, like, when the first episode they teased Crisis on Infinite Earth. I was like, oh, crap, because that's one of my all-time favorite comic events and series, and that's back when DC was, in my opinion, doing very little wrong. So,
I tell you, the one show I'm a little nervous about is this new one they got coming out that has Atom, Firestorm. I think it's going to have Captain Colt, some other guys in it. Some of the lesser characters from both series. Yeah, it's I think it's scheduled for next year's lineup for CW, but they're putting, I know for sure, Atom and Firestorm, which I'm really interested. I like the Firestorm character on that. But on the Flash, so
that was one of the last episodes
I
watched was the one where it kind of showed how I didn't get to see him as Firestorm, but I got to see how he became Firestorm.
I got you.
But
you definitely need to catch up on that. I'm sure Netflix does not have the newest season of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I'm so far behind.
I think it's on Hulu, man. If I'm not mistaken, I think the season 2 might be on Hulu.
I can't remember the last episode I remember watching was the two of them were at the bottom of the ocean in some kind of
Simmons.
Yes. That's how long it's been since I've watched an episode.
Well, that was like, if I'm not mistaken, that is the season finale of episode 1. I have season 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're on 2 now? Or 3?
Yeah, last night was the season finale of 2. And it was awesome, man. Such a good finale. Don't want to spoil anything because in case you do end up going back and watching it, which you should, because it's been really good. But, I'll just say this. There was something that happened last night that when it happened, I said, well, they did what Walking Dead didn't do with one of its main characters, with their main character. So.
Let me ask you this, and this has been and again, this should not be one of my problems because I'm one of those people that I'm just weird with stuff, but it seems like when I watched it, they are totally trying to stay to S.H.I.E.L.D., and they don't bring any other superheroes into it, really. Has it stayed that path?
I'm trying to think how to put this. The big focus this season has honestly been on the Inhumans.
Okay.
That's been the main storyline. Has really been that. And how the Inhumans, one of the members of the S.H.I.E.L.D. team, is actually affiliated with that without realizing it, and it's led to a big thing. And, I mean, that's why I've said all season that I'm shocked that they would let that big of a development for the Marvel Cinematic Universe happen on that show. Because, I mean, that's something that's going to affect everything going forward. And, I mean, we've got an announced Inhumans movie, even. So the origin of the Inhumans has happened on this show. But, yeah, I mean, there's not been a lot of, I mean, for the most part, really none of the cinematic universe characters have showed up. And I guess that's just because of movie contracts and what have you. I think we had another episode with Sif from the Thor movies, who I think is gorgeous, Jamie Alexander. Ooh. But she could be on there every week. But she was on another episode this season. And you've had some characters show up. We had more Deathlock this season. We had Mr. Hyde. We've had different characters. And of course, and I can't spoil it, but one of the main characters on the show we find out is actually a Marvel character that we've known for a while. And we saw last night that character is going to be forming a group who fans of Jonathan Hickman will remember was a book that he wrote right before he wrote Fantastic Four, and that would be Secret Warriors. So that's getting ready to happen. So I don't know, it's been cool, man.
I'll have to go back and check into it sometime. I'll have time. Arrow is, I think, about over. Flash is about over, and Blacklist is about over. So all my TV will pretty much be ending shortly.
So this is something I've got to go watch because I've only watched 2 episodes of. But Daredevil, you finished it up, right?
I did.
Okay, talk about it. Because, I mean, I've only watched 2 episodes, man. I mean, that's ridiculous, I know. But, I mean, I need to just sit down and jump in on it.
I loved it. It has the darker feel. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't
it makes sense for Daredevil.
Yeah. It doesn't feel quite as miserable as the DC universe.
Which is kind of funny because I always think of Matt Murdock as being the most miserable, tortured character in all of comics.
I've been so pleased, even though it's a little different. He's different than the comics somewhat. Mm-hmm. I've been so pleased with, and I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy's name that plays Kingpin.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but raves about that from every single person I've talked to, and I haven't made it to him yet, so I can't say. I mean, is his name like something Del Florio or something like that?
I can't remember the guy's name. He was very good on. He was on one of the Law and Order shows for a long time, and he was very good on that. And now, I mean, he's putting on a lot of weight for this Kingpin role, but very
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, he has brought life to that character that I did not expect. I'll say that for him. And I love the guy playing Matt Murdock, Foggy. That guy, I didn't think I was gonna like the guy playing Foggy at first, but he's really grown on me. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've liked every character. Rosario Dawson's character. I really like her, but I love Rosario Dawson.
Me too, man.
And which I heard she's possibly going to be like the, sort of the, not the Nick Fury role, but kind of like the character like Nick Fury that's going to go through all the Marvel Netflix shows. So that's cool.
Oh, okay.
But since you like Daredevil, I think you'll love it.
Yeah.
That's
did you love it?
Yeah, I loved it.
Okay.
I know Sean. I see Sean said he saw the first 2 episodes and he wasn't a huge fan. He'll watch it eventually, but the first 2 episodes are a little bit slower. It takes a little bit to get into the meat of the story and to really see where it's going. But now, I messaged Matt, and something happens in I can't remember if it's the next to last or the next to last, but something happened, and I was like, what the crap? I can't believe they just did that.
Huh.
And you'll see once you get there.
Right.
Because they destroy a character that I feel is a major part of that universe.
Oh.
It took me absolutely. It just shocked me. I immediately. Wow. If you remember, I messaged him and was like, "Have you guys finished it?" It was actually on Mother's Day, and Matt said, "Well, I finished it." So I started texting Matt and got out of the group text.
Yeah.
I didn't want you to see it. It's just it shocked me. It was a huge shocker. Like
I'm curious who it is, man. I'm so curious now. I would almost tell you to spoil it for me, but no, I need to see it.
You need to see it. You'll be shocked. I will say that.
Let me ask you this, because you've watched it all. Because I think I can, and I don't know. I mean, you maybe haven't read all this, but I have. I think there's a distinct difference. Like when I think of Daredevil, there's three main runs that I think of at this point. And I think there's distinct feelings. There's the Frank Miller Daredevil.
Uh-huh.
There's the Brian Michael Bendis Daredevil. And then there's the Mark Waid Daredevil. I don't sense a lot of the Mark Waid in this from the first two episodes I've read. I watched. Is it more, do you think it's more Miller or Bendis as far as what they took their inspiration and feeling from?
I think Miller.
Okay. That's kind of what I was thinking from the first two I watched as well. I was just wondering if it kind of continued down that path.
I want to say Miller, even though I don't want that to be influenced by the fact that I know he was he was heavily consulted.
Okay.
So that kind of gives away that, you're going to get his influences there a lot.
Right. Have you read all of the Bendis Daredevil runs?
I have not. I need to.
Dude, I've got the two omnibuses that collect the whole run, and you're more than welcome to borrow them, because I know you'll take care of them, and I think you should. It's honestly, and this is one of the ones where I could get heat from people for saying this. I think I prefer Bendis' run to Miller's.
Wow.
I do. I really think I do.
I'm going to have to go back and read it, because now you got me interested.
I think it's, and I'll say this as well. I think, and I've read a vast majority of Bendis' work. I think it's Bendis' finest work in comics. I like it better than his Ultimate Spider-Man. I like it better than his Avengers run. I like it better than, which I haven't read all of his Powers run, so I can't necessarily say that. But I do. I think it's Bendis' best work. Well,
I'm going to go back and refresh myself up this week on some of it. Maybe we can talk about it later.
Yeah, like I said, you're more than welcome to borrow those two omnibuses.
All right, so anything else in the comic book TV world?
I can't necessarily think of anything. I would reiterate for anybody that didn't, definitely check out Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season finale. Because I liked it a lot. But yeah, that's really about it.
All right, so I guess let's talk a little bit about wrestling, maybe.
Yeah. Interesting week, actually. Monday night on Raw, we kind of got what we knew was coming, I think, but it still didn't make it any easier to take, I don't think. It's kind of like knowing you've got that bad dental appointment coming up, but even though you know about it, that don't make it suck any less. We had Daniel Bryan come out and officially relinquish the title, and he said, the doctors have told him they don't know if he'll be out a week, a month, or if he'll ever get in the ring again. And that doesn't necessarily sound so fatalistic when I just say it, but something about the tone and the feel of that whole segment to me felt an awful lot like a goodbye.
Well, you're going to see him in some form because he has a DVD and a book coming out. So he's going to be on TV for something.
Yeah, well, plus he's going to be one of the judges on Tough Enough.
Yeah, but, I mean, they're at least down the road somewhere going to have to give him a send-off, a bigger send-off. If it winds up being a send-off. I am reading what's up with his arm, and he does have problems, but knowing what he's been able to work through, I see at least him probably talking into maybe one more program. Not him just saying, okay, that's all I want to do, but I think they'll let him unless they can repair that thing with his arm, but I think he might be able to talk him into one more program. And I think that's how he'll at least want to go out with one more program if he can if he can make it work and make WWE okay it. Although he's got to get doctors okays for that. So I don't know.
Okay.
I think that's what's going to happen.
Let me ask you this. If you're right on that, who do you think would be the perfect final program for Daniel Bryan?
Man. I don't know. There's, I really don't know. Because I hate for it to be, I really don't want it to be a face versus face final program.
No. But at the same time, they always love to stick him with two people. For whatever reason, since the time he got there, they've had the biggest boner for sticking him with either Kane or Sheamus. They love putting him with either of those two.
Yeah. A lot of it says Brock, but I agree with him that would let's just go ahead and cut his arm off because it's what happens.
As long as he goes ahead and makes the appointment to have his arm amputated directly after, then. But no, it's just a real bummer, man. Honestly, I think, I mean, you could call it. I mean, knowing Brian like I know Brian, I could see him wanting to do a program with some fresh NXT call up and really try to put him over too. Maybe like a Kevin Owens program. Oh,
that would be good.
I don't know how much. I don't know. I mean, I could see that being almost as destructive as a Brock Lesnar program. But
Sean says Cesaro, which would lead to some great matches.
Yeah.
But I kind of hate to take Cesaro out of that spot that he's got going right now anytime soon.
Yeah, Cesaro's really onto something right now, man. I thought Monday night he was phenomenal in that match.
So I don't really know. I don't know what to do with him, but I think we'll at least get that out of him.
I hope,
if he at all can.
I hope. Okay, and this is my other question I have concerning the whole Daniel Bryan thing for you, and I'd be interested to hear Waldo's input as well. Say that this is it. He's never cleared again. Because I have a definite answer for this, but I could see arguments on either side. Hall of Fame?
He would not go in quickly, but eventually.
I would argue he goes in next year, the next year after his announced retirement. If you look at strictly times held, he held the World Heavyweight title twice, I think. He held the WWE title, 3 times?
He has the pedigree, no pun intended there. But, I mean, they've never been one to push him on anything, so why would they suddenly, hey, here he is, Hall of Fame?
That's true. That's true.
He by far has the pedigree. I mean, and he did it in a short amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, Intercontinental, U.S., tag titles. Yeah, I don't know how they could really keep him out. I just, it's a real bummer, man, because I feel like Daniel Bryan's the guy that'll always be what could have been. And that's not just because of injuries, but also because of booking decisions at times. But I've genuinely, and I feel completely comfortable saying this, if you talk about strictly talent level in the ring, as just talking about just wrestling talent, I think he's probably, I don't know that anybody surpasses him that's ever held the title.
You're probably right.
The only person that comes close, in my opinion, and I mean, this is just my opinion, would be Shawn Michaels. I think it's between him and Shawn Michaels as far as like strictly talent.
Can make a good match with anybody. Well, Kurt Angle. What do you want to say?
Oh yeah, he's a hard one to argue against too. You're right. Kurt, he's been in TNA long enough that it's almost like I just forget about him ever even being that. But yeah, Kurt would definitely be on that list.
Yeah, that's a match that I'd like to see.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you this because we're talking. I mean, we're kind of chasing rabbits. This is fun. I'll ask you this: where does CM Punk fall on that list? Because I know he's kind of out of favor with everyone now. A lot of people kind of got tired of him, and understandably so. But if you just put away everything and just talk about just strictly in the ring, where does CM Punk fall on that list of talent level as a champ?
I think he's high because his in-ring work and his mic work basically carried a real dead period for the company.
Mm-hmm.
And really started the belt back. Sure they booked that, had that belt on him the whole time, but he made it work.
Yeah.
I
agree 100%, man. I mean, I think he's one of the more talented guys to hold it. I've always said this about Punk. I think the only knock I have on his in-ring work has always been that you could tell, more than maybe any other wrestler I can think of, you could tell if Punk was enthused about the program he was in or not. Because if it was a match that he cared about or a program that he cared about, you saw that he could be as good as anybody in the world at that moment. But if it was one he didn't care about, he did not care to phone it in.
Well, I can see where you say that.
Like, I mean, his last 6 months of work when he was just so frustrated, you could tell he did not want to be out there, and he just could have cared less.
That kind of fits into me, his persona, though, of, not really super caring what the fans get.
Right, he don't.
Because he doesn't really like the fans.
No, I think he's always kind of hated the fans, honestly. I don't even think that's a character. I think that's genuinely Phil Brooks. He just don't like the fans. So,
yeah, I think you're right.
But we're talking about people with the world title. I'm sorry, what was you going to say?
I said, which is going to make for an interesting UFC because there's going to be a lot of people rooting for him to get just beat to death.
And he may feed off of that, man. He may feed off of that. I'm very interested. When have we heard any more talk about when his first fight will be?
I think it's going to be this fall.
Didn't he have like a practice fight and he got, from what I understood, pretty much dominated him?
I have no idea. I hadn't heard, but all right, let's chase the rabbit holes here. First fight, he loses in 30 seconds. I mean, just not necessarily, not a punch where anybody could say, yeah, anybody can get him for a lucky punch, but somebody gets him, takes him down, mounts him, and just ground and pound so he has to tap out. It's a TKO. I mean, and quick.
I mean, that's very likely.
Is there interest in another fight?
I think he gets maybe one pass.
Or is the interest just, They just want to see Punk get beat to death again. Sean says that he's going to wrestle or work this fall against Ronda Rousey, which she would destroy him.
Oh, Ronda would kill him, dude. I think he would get one pass. If you'll remember, it's very similar to me to the Kimbo Slice situation. I mean, he got, like, a pass, I would say, with people caring, but after, like, 2 defeats, he kind of just dropped off. Because you always have
the difference there, Kimbo Slice, you always have that wonder, what's he going to be able to throw those big punches
right
that you saw in the videos. Punk, you know it's not going to come out as a heavy hitter. I mean, I don't see it happening. He's suddenly a knockout artist.
No, he's going to be the guy that, yeah, you're going to be wondering if he's going to get to go to sleep. That's the moment when you know UFC is going to work. CM Punk for the GTS.
I half expect Dana to try to give him the easiest fight he can without making it super obvious the first fight.
Well, if he's any kind of a smart businessman, he will. If he wants to get any kind of return on his investment.
Right, because, I mean, if they can manufacture 2 or 3 wins and just have Punk talk.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, man. You know, Punk can talk all day. I mean, he'll make Chael Sonnen look like nothing to UFC fans.
But, best of luck to him. I don't think it'll happen.
Like you said, if they're smart, they'll find a way to, I don't want to say work, but manufacture, like you said, a few wins for him. And it could be done. I mean, it can be done. And then put him in a high-profile fight and then just let it go. That you've made your money. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see, obviously. But, yeah, we were talking about world titles, though. I will say, what's your interest level going into Payback this weekend? Is it called Payback? Is that it, or is it Backlash? Whatever it's called.
I don't know what it's called, but it went from a 1 to about a 7 when they added Ambrose.
Absolutely, man. Any chance of them sneaking the surprise win on Ambrose in that match?
I truly think that there's no chance because that's when Rollins and him team up.
I think that's a real possibility. Yeah, I do too, man. I'm interested in that. I'll tell you, Monday night. Did you watch all of Raw Monday night or most of it?
No, my DVR for some reason only recorded like half of it.
I guess what I'm mainly wanting to get at, did you by any chance get to see the John Cena and Neville match?
Yes, I did. I saw that.
Number one, I think that was one of the best matches I saw in a long time. Number two, I thought Neville looked like he's ready, man. Very smartly booked. That was one of those times when the disqualification made perfect sense for everything involved. It kept the match between Cena and Rusev strong for Sunday. But by all intents and purposes, it was very much made to look as if Neville had Cena beat.
I'm about to say one of those Vince McMahon remarks.
Okay.
It's just so hard for me to take anybody that looks like a hobbit seriously.
They've got to go with it, man. They've got to go with it. He wins the belt, melts it down into a ring.
It's so throws
the dude doesn't
off.
look like a hobbit.
I mean, Kendra had never seen him, and he come out, and she goes, that looks like he should be in Lord of the Rings.
I get what you're saying. The look doesn't bother me, but I can see where it would bother some people. I just, I'm blown away by the guy's talent so much, man. His high flying is insane.
It is. He has talent. He has everything in the world, but I don't ever see him as a world champion. Now,
He's the NXT World Champ, but that's a whole different ballgame.
Different ballgame. I see Finn Balor. I see Sami Zayn as world champions.
Kevin Owens?
Oh, I can only hope so.
You know who I do not see as a champion? And I hate to say this, but it's all I could see Neville being world champion before one guy. And I'm not even saying it because I think it's talent level, because I love the guy. But I think Hideo Itami has zero chance of ever. WWE has no idea how to book Japanese wrestlers. They never have.
Basically, I don't know if he ever gets out of NXT.
No. I think his one moment would have been that WrestleMania Battle Royal moment there.
I almost foresee him just giving up and saying, just let me go back to Japan.
Yeah. Why does WWE have no idea how to book Japanese wrestlers? They've proven, not to the same success as white wrestlers, but they can book wrestlers of Mexican descent. We've had, 3 Mexican world champs? Del Rio, Mysterio, and Guerrero.
Yeah.
They can book people of color, but different races, but why can they not book Japanese wrestlers?
Because there's no such thing as managers anymore, and Japanese wrestlers cannot talk.
There you go.
And in the WWE now, it's about entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to talk.
Why is it? And I know the answer before I even ask, but it's worth asking. Why is it that tonight in Philadelphia, Ring of Honor in New Japan is having a show that they had to add a show? This is the second night in a row because there were people traveling from all over the country to sell out this building, and if they'd have had it in a bigger building, they would have sold it out too. Why is it that on the independent scene or the levels lower than WWE, it's pretty easy for Japanese wrestlers to get insanely over and maybe even be the most over guy on the card? But in WWE, it just can't happen.
Here's why. Those promotions pretty much are not based around TV. They're based around people just wanting to go see what they know is going to be good wrestling matches.
Mm-hmm.
Other matches they've seen, because you go on YouTube and you see these Japanese guys, and you can't understand the language, so you're just enjoying the matches anyway. But
right.
You know they can work, and they're not built around that whole idea.
Right.
Right now the only way I see Hideo ever getting anywhere is basically you would have to put him with Heyman.
I think that could be a very interesting pairing, too.
I would put him with Heyman and just have him, buzzsaw people with those kicks.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. A lot of people that have only saw Itami in NXT even, what you saw of Itami has been it's been a Kenta, but it's been a watered-down Kenta. If you go and watch, a lot of his stuff in Noah, and even his Ring of Honor stuff from 4 years ago. The one word that has always come to mind when I think of Kenta is badass. He's a legit badass, man. And I don't think that has been put across on NXT yet. I've never really thought they put that across about him. The fact that this dude he's got swagger. The guy has got this cocky kind of swagger about him that I haven't really saw in NXT.
Well, he needs a mouthpiece. That's just straight up. I could see him as a world champ with a mouthpiece before I can see Neville with those ears as a mouthpiece.
Those ears really bother you, don't they?
Dude, why can't they just have him work in a mask?
It worked in Lucha Underground with Ricochet. Although Ricochet's like not, he's like kind of like a pretty dude. Like it's kind of the opposite. Like he probably shouldn't be under a mask, but he is.
You see him, and all I can think about is Lord of the Rings. It messes with me so bad. It's like I can't even enjoy the match. I'm trying to get Jake because I was trying to watch that with him. I'm like, hey, look, Jake. And the whole time I'm just thinking, where's Frodo? That's all I'm thinking.
What does Jake? Let me ask you. What does Jake say about him? Did Jake make any comments about him looking funny?
No, but Jake's never watched Lord of the Rings.
Okay. I was just curious. But no, I mean, honestly, I thought the match with Cena Monday night was phenomenal, man. I think it's maybe John Cena's, since this whole open U.S. title run, that's maybe my favorite match so far. I liked it more than the Zayn match.
I've enjoyed most of those matches except for Kane.
Yeah.
Although I hate the springboard stunner with a passion.
I don't mind it, but I've heard a lot of people talking about hating it. I don't mind. I noticed he didn't do it Monday night.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Oh, I didn't think he did. I didn't think he did.
I think he did it.
Oh, I might have missed that. Okay. But I've heard a lot of people saying they don't like it. What do you not like about it?
It looks horrible, I think, honestly.
I don't know. I think it's just I just like the fact that at this stage in his career, John Cena is actually trying to develop a new finisher. I don't know, or like a new signature hold. Something about that kind of appeals to me. But
you know what I almost think it is? It's something he's thrown in to try and he probably called Steve Ersoff and like, look, we can work this into an angle at WrestleMania. Come on.
all right.
Let's do something.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know, man. I've been real impressed with Cena in the last little bit. I've enjoyed this U.S. title run. I think it's easy to say that the U.S. title means more than it's meant in probably 5 years right now.
They got what they wanted with the U.S. title, and unfortunately, the IC title has not had that because Daniel wasn't able to defend it the way they'd hoped.
So I guess we're going to get the IC title in the Elimination Chamber, which they announced.
Is that what they're going to do?
Apparently they announced, someone told me today that I was talking to, and I can't confirm this is just what I was told, that they were going to be doing 2 Elimination Chamber matches, and one was going to be a tag team, and one was going to be for the Intercontinental title.
Tag team?
That's what they said.
Are they going to put the whole tag team in?
I hope.
Are both guys going to be?
I think that's going to be the funniest thing ever. That's what I'm hoping, man. I want to see Luke Gallows and Eric Rowan pushed together in one of those pods.
How many times will you be able to make the 2 peas in the pod joke?
Yeah, if it can be made, I guarantee you that you'll hear JBL and Booker T cracking it.
Hey, we are running out of time. Did you want to talk about Tennessee real fast for me?
Yes, definitely. I want to first of all send a big shout out to Just Us Video Production. Big shout out to Cody Green, and he hooked up Matt and myself and Stevie with the opportunity to come and help them with their production job, and got to view this card in the process. And it was just, I can't say enough good things about NWA Smoky Mountain. Tony Givens has put together, and this is everything that an independent promotion in 2015 should aspire to be. This show was filmed for iPay-per-view. This show, first of all, their homegrown talent was guys that would not seem out of place on on a Ring of Honor show, on a on an Evolve show, just the homegrown talent all really impressed me. The NWA president, Bruce Tharp, was there, and he was managing Rob Conway. And Rob Conway and Jax Dane. And Jax Dane is this guy that they've got down there that, barring injury or anything of that nature, this guy is going to be a major star. Like, the sky's the limit. He's this big, monstrous dude that can work, that's got a personality, has an amazing look. Him and Rob Conway had a very entertaining brawl, and they pulled out the old, he went to spear Conway, and then he went down, and you saw the old Goldberg-Bret Hart gimmick. Conway had a iron plate on under his jacket. So that was cool. But and Conway impressed me too. It was the first time I really saw him in a long time, and he was impressive. All of that stuff was good, but the meat of the show was the two main events. And Jimmy, wow! Number one, it was awesome seeing AJ Styles, and it was also even more awesome to get to see the IWGP World Heavyweight title in person. When AJ came out, it was electric. And he took on a guy that WVCW is proud to call, one of our guys, a guy that you'll see on our shows. Every chance he's not booked somewhere else, the guy stays pretty busy, including the fact that he's getting ready to go to Japan to compete in the best of the Super J. He's in the Super J Cup tournament this year. Chase Owens. AJ and Chase had a match that, for anyone that saw it, would have a hard time arguing that it shouldn't be on like a Match of the Year candidate list. These two guys work very similar styles, and Chase reminds me a lot of AJ at the beginning of AJ's career. And it was really cool to see them get to go in there. And I could tell it was a big moment for Chase. Just an excellent match. And then the main event, we saw John Morrison, Johnny Mundo, for you Lucha Underground fans, taking on the Gift, Jason Kincaid. And for anybody that knows anything about Jason Kincaid, you know how innovative he is with his ring work. And seeing him and Morrison try to one-up each other with just, crazy move after crazy move, including the finish, which I posted a GIF file of yesterday. You may have saw.
Yeah.
Which was a top rope sunset flip power bomb by Jason Kincaid onto John Morrison. Insane. It looked like they were both dead, live. The place just lost their minds. And just excellent two matches on the main event. So, yeah, and I want to quickly also shout out, on the pre-show, they had a Battle Royal, a Royal Rumble style, and our boy Benny Conley got to compete in it. And not just saying this because Benny's a friend, not just saying this because he's a WVCW guy, but all the people sitting around us that was completely unfamiliar with Benny, the minute he came out there, the whole energy level of the Rumble picked up. People got excited. People were cheering for Benny, and it was awesome to see that, like, people that didn't know him was automatically into Benny, and it goes to show how far he's came, and the fact that he's got that energy level that he maybe didn't even have 2 years ago, and he understands how to get a crowd going, and it was really cool to see that. Also cool to see another WVCW guy who's making his name all across the country, really. Timmy Lou Retton got to work in a four-way match at the opening match of the card, and he pulled probably the move of the night, which was a top rope corkscrew dive to the outside of the ring, and he just got insane height on. That's another guy that impressed a lot of people that wasn't familiar with him. So I thought really good showings for Benny Conley and Timmy Lou Retton, and just overall, just an awesome, awesome card. If you get the chance, anybody that's listening to this, if you live anywhere near Tennessee, follow NWA Smoky Mountain and go to one of their shows. I promise you will not be disappointed. I can't wait to get back down there and hopefully see them in June.
Well, wrap it up with this. you had to choose, are you saying that AJ and Chase was the best match over Kincaid and more?
I loved both matches. Loved both. Yeah, if I had to pick one of the two, I'm going to say AJ Styles, Chase Owens was match of the night. And that's in no way crapping on Morrison and Kincaid. I thought they were awesome, too. But I thought AJ and Chase had just an insane chemistry together. And, yeah, they would be my match of the night.
All right, man, then wrap it up. We're out of time.
All right. Sorry we kept you guys so long, but hopefully you didn't mind the bonus wrestling coverage. I don't think you did. We want to thank all of you for listening each and every week. If you are listening, tell a friend. If you are listening, go on iTunes. Give us a good review. That helps people find the show. That way more people can join the Nerdy Nation. In the meantime, if you want to get in touch with us, you can do so through Facebook at Nerdy30s. Just find us on there. Or you can email us at nerdy30s@gmail.com. Follow us on YouTube. Jimmy, what's the YouTube address?
I have no idea. Just type in Nerdy30s and you'll find it.
There you go. We're always putting up fresh content, and it's a fun channel to follow. So, for Matt, who may or may not be dead, and for Jimmy, this is Jeff saying good night, America, and please, whatever you do, keep it nerdy.